Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome back to The Voice Within. So, today we're going to talk about 7 confusions or 7 misunderstandings that are stealing woman power. The way we perceive the world and the way we have understanding about the world around us is basically coming from our environment. What people around us teach us about the world, what certain things mean in our environment. And if those interpretations are in mismatch with what we feel deep inside of us, we often feel misaligned. We often feel that panic inside of us between what the people tell us what actually it is and what actually we feel deep inside of us. Let's take example of the child in the tantrum. The child who has tantrum and is flooded with emotions is crying basically because doesn't have understanding or vocabulary to describe what is happening inside. This is why all of the parenting methods worldwide are saying to give vocabulary to children. So the parents, they start saying, are you feeling angry? Are you feeling frustrated? What are we actually doing over here? We are borrowing vocabulary to our children so they are able to describe or feel fully what is happening inside of them. Now, because the children are not able to see what is correct, what is not correct, they trust us fully, they will immediately accept any explanation that we are giving them. So if the child has tantrum and it's crying, and we tell them, stop crying, it's nothing, the child will, of course, internalize that crying is nothing, that we're just supposed to suppress emotions. But if we say to our children, okay, your emotions are big. I see you are angry. Do you want me to hug you? We can stay over here hugged until you let go and feel that emotions fully. The child starts to understand better the world around it, and it's more free to express emotions without suppressing them. A lot of our frustrations in life are basically coming from the same place, from the place where we have misunderstanding and confusion around certain things, around certain words. And that confusion is coming basically from the place of how people around us describe certain things, what is acceptable in our society and what is not acceptable. But because we are not children anymore and we have ability to see right and wrong, we start to feel that mismatch inside of us. We feel something, but the people around us telling us that this is not the way it is, that the black is not black, that the white is not white. And this is where that gap is starting to form, where we want to act on a certain way, but we are like blocked to do it because we feel that if we do it the way we feel inside of us, we will create the problems with the people around us. This is why we have such a huge problem with setting the boundaries. This is why we have such a huge problem with speaking our truth, because we know deep inside that if we act on what we feel deep inside of us, we will have disagreement with the people around us. So I have pulled 7 most observed confusions and misunderstandings that I saw that are stealing woman power. And today I'm going to try to explain you the best way I can from my own experience to give you vocabulary and understanding for the things you might don't understand, for the things you might interpret it wrong way, and once you understand them better, you will get your power back. Why am I saying get your power back? Because once you understand what actually certain words mean, you will be able to act on your internal alignment. So you will basically stop acting to please other people, but start acting to find the peace inside of yourself. So we will start with one very familiar situation that we all been in, disagreement or some argument with another person. So you have one opinion about something and another person has different opinion about something. And deep inside, you know that their opinion might be completely wrong. You see it better and more clear, but you are holding your truth. Why? Because you are terrified of their reaction. You are terrified that if you speak your truth and if you tell them with full arguments why their idea or their interpretation of the thing is possibly wrong and it's creating some friction in relationship, you know that they will react and you will be attacked. So to avoid that, you hold your truth. Deep inside, you know, if I say this, they will feel this. And if they feel this, they will say that I'm disrespecting them. So in order for me to avoid them telling me that I'm disrespecting them, I will bottle up my truth. I will bottle up what I want to say just to avoid to feel rejected. But whatever we bottle up, over the time, it comes on the surface. And when it comes, I'm sure you felt it so many times, when you hold and hold and hold your truth and suddenly you explode, all of the things start coming out of you. Now you are blaming the people for something which happened 5 years ago, and the people around you are completely confused. Why are you bringing situations which happened years back? Why are you bringing them? Because you didn't spoke about them when it was time. And why you didn't spoke about them? Because somebody somewhere teach you that the truth, saying the truth, the thing that are sitting on your chest is basically disrespectful. So why do we think that speaking truth is disrespectful? Because people around us, they teach us that if we say something and they feel uncomfortable with what we said, that is disrespectful. What is this implying? It's implying that we are responsible for their discomfort with our truth. So in order for other person to don't feel rejected or challenged, they teach us to swallow our truth, to don't challenge them, to bottle up, and basically to pretend nothing is happening. But if you pay attention closely, truth is the only thing which preserves peace. Truth is the only thing which opens the door to better understanding. Because if the one person is pretending and another person is pretending, then both of the person are living in performed reality, in illusion. But once we speak our truth, there is no more space for illusion. There is no more space for the masks. And actually, there is space for growth. Because as long as we are pretending that the things don't exist, the things are there, but we're just pretending that they don't exist. They didn't disappear. But once we speak our truth in disagreement, in argument, in any situation, we basically are opening the door for the growth. Now the truth is on the table. Now what are we going to do with it? How are we going to grow from this place? And we often, like I said, avoid this situation because environment around us teaches that the truth is equal disrespect. Because if you say something that makes me feel uncomfortable, then you were disrespecting me. But what is basically disrespect? Disrespect would be harming somebody intentionally, calling somebody names, offending somebody, making them intentionally feel less than us. This would be something which is disrespectful. But speaking and saying what is on our mind is not disrespectful. It is disrespectful to people who don't really understand what the truth means. Only thing they know is that they feel discomfort and they don't like it. So they try to shut you down, to block you from speaking your truth so they don't feel uncomfortable because they think that discomfort is equal harm. So now we're moving in the second confusion. Discomfort equals harm. Most of the people, they want to stay comfortable. They want to stay unchallenged. So when we speak our truth, when we challenge their narrative, they feel discomfort. And as long as I'm not feeling comfortable, I feel anything else than comfortable, that means you are harming me. You disturbing my comfort zone by speaking your truth. However, discomfort is not harm. Harm would be intentionally harming another person. It would be you intentionally standing in front of another person, calling them names, humiliating them, putting them down with intention to harm them. When they feel discomfort with your truth, you are not harming other people. The fact that they feel discomfort is exactly the place where they need to grow. Because if there is no chance or space for the growth, they wouldn't feel discomfort in the first place. They would feel flat. If I tell you, you are purple elephant, you would start laughing. Why? Because you know it's not true. When you say something to another person and they start feeling discomfort, it's basically because it's true. They have space in that place to grow. In order for them to stop you from speaking the truth and making them grow and making them feel uncomfortable, what they say, you are harming me. Or they even sometimes say, why are you attacking me that way? Now we're moving to the third misunderstanding, that disagreement in something is attack. So if you say your truth, if you stand behind your words, if you stand behind your perception and another person feels discomfort of that, they feel attacked. Why? Now you are challenging me to grow. Now you are saying something which I don't want to look at. So in order to stop you, I will say that you are disrespecting me. I will say that you are harming me. And I will say that you are attacking me. All of these things are in place. Why? Because that person in that disagreement or argument with you is trying not to grow, is trying not to see what exactly is happening inside of them. But because they don't have stability inside of them to accept the truth and to say, okay, wait a minute, your perspective is very interesting, let me think about it, they will attack your truth, label you like disrespectful, label you like the one who is attacking them and harming them, just to basically avoid discomfort, just to basically avoid growing. Now we move to the next misunderstanding. And this next misunderstanding says, I didn't mean to hurt you, but I did. So once they say that we are disrespecting somebody, that we are attacking somebody, that we are harming somebody, what do we start to feel? We start to feel responsible for somebody else's emotions. So in order for us to function together, so I don't feel rejected, I have to swallow my throat, I have to not challenge you, I have to not speak what is on my mind, so you don't feel discomfort, so you don't tell me I am disrespecting you, attacking you, and harming you, because then I will feel responsible for your internal world. It would be the same thing if we say to our children when they do something, you made me angry. I feel like this because of what you did, which is not true. We feel the certain way because of the things which are sitting inside of us. Situations and things that we are living with other people are basically just triggering the things which are inside of us. And it's really good that we are triggered. Most of the personal development advices, they trying to shut down triggers, like don't be triggered. But in my observation, triggers are very useful and they are really good barometer of telling us what is happening inside of us. And in human experience, it's basically impossible not to feel triggered. The only thing which we need to work on is how we read those triggers, how we understand them, and how we act on them. But we still need to feel them because it's a normal part of being human. So now when we feel responsible for other people's emotions, for how they explain our truth to themselves, we start bottling up and not speaking our truth. So let's now understand, are we responsible for other people's emotions and what basically we are responsible for? Whenever we are in disagreement with somebody, whenever we have some argument with somebody, what we are basically responsible for is our intention. What do I want to say? Our delivery. How do I want to say this? We have shared responsibility in the impact of our words. So if I am managing my intention, if I am managing my delivery, I have to make sure that impact of those words that I'm speaking are not harming you, but affect how another person is deeply feeling and behaving based on what we said is completely out of our control, which basically means we are not responsible for how other people perceive our words. Why? Because we cannot change what is happening inside of them. The moment the words leave your mouth, they are not anymore your responsibility. As long as you are managing your intention, your delivery, and how you want your intention and delivery to impact their internal world, what happens after that is not your responsibility. we can affect other people's emotions by being intentional. So if you are in disagreement or argument with somebody and you really trying to harm that people with the full intention of putting them down, you will be able to create impact and effect on them. If you start calling them names, if you start minimizing them, you will affect them. You will harm them. So our words are not neutral. Our words are not standing in the vacuum. We have influence on another person. But speaking truth, managing your delivery, it's not harmful as long as you don't have harmful intention. The way the people understand your words after you spoke them, after you manage your intention, delivery, and how your words are impacting them, effect on them, it's not your responsibility because you cannot control what they feel inside of them. Only thing that you can control is how you deliver your truth. So now let's say you spoke your truth, you said what you said, the other person is saying that they feel disrespected, attacked, harmed. Now you feel accountability to correct their feelings. So it's like, I said something which makes you feel uncomfortable. Now I'm responsible to fix it and to repair it. And a lot of people have this confusion. If I didn't meant to do it, that means I'm not responsible for fixing it. So let's imagine this scenario. You throw the ball at somebody and the ball hits that person accidentally. Would you say to that person, I am sorry, I didn't mean to hit you? Or you would say, well, I didn't mean to hurt you, so therefore I'm not going to apologize. Doesn't have sense, right? Even if we didn't had intention to harm somebody, we still have basic human decency to apologize if they felt harm in some way. But apologizing doesn't mean we are responsible for how they feel. So how does this look like in reality? You spoke your truth. Another person feels disrespected, attacked, and harmed. You know deep inside of yourself that your intention was not to harm them, that your intention was not to make them feel disrespected. You manage your words, your delivery, how your words will impact them. But they still felt discomfort. So now you are standing inside of yourself and you're saying, okay, I didn't mean to hurt you. My intention was not to harm you. However, if my words did make you uncomfortable, I am truly sorry for that. But this is something you have to manage with yourself. So it's like that same situation with the ball you throw. I am sorry that I throw the ball at you, that the ball hit you. That was not my intention, but I'm still sorry that it happened. Do you see the difference between swallowing your truth and actually standing behind your words even when people are uncomfortable with your truth? And this is often very, very hard for us. And here we are moving on the sixth confusion of our life, that behavior is equal identity. What I mean by this, and this is something which I discovered, to be honest, maybe 6-7 months ago. Not that I discovered the difference, but I discovered that the people really don't understand difference between behavior and identity. Something that I'm teaching my son all the time. And when I realized that the people really don't have full understanding of this the way I have, I saw how many problems people have because of it. What we have learned in our life is, if I do something harmful or if I make somebody else uncomfortable, that means that I am bad, that I am a bad person. We grew up with the sentences like, you are a bad boy, you are a bad girl, you are a good girl. The people were evaluating us based on our behavior and giving us identity based on that behavior. So if I do XYZ, then I'm good. If society approves me, that means I'm a good person. But if I do ABC, then I'm a bad person because society I'm living in says that doing ABC is bad. So where is the problem? The problem is that behavior is changeable. Identity is factual. We cannot change who we are. I cannot become Arva Black woman, African, or I don't know, from any other country. Who I am, my identity is who I am. I don't have influence around that. The place I was born, the family I was born in, my skin color, my hair, this is my identity. This is who I am. But my behavior is something which is changeable, which I can influence and change. And whatever I'm doing, it's not basically representation of my identity. This is why, for example, in my motherhood, I never say to my son, you did XYZ, that means you are bad boy, or you made me angry. What I always keep repeating him, I am angry at your behavior. I am angry because you did something, not because you are bad boy or bad person. Behavior we can change. So let's say if you are the woman who feels lazy and doesn't go to gym, doesn't taking care for yourself, you are not lazy woman. This is not your identity. You are a woman who has problems with behavior around pushing yourself, pushing the limit, laziness, workout, taking care for yourself. Who you are, your identity is completely unchangeable. This is not something that you can influence. Only way you could basically influence your identity internally is if you would start repeating yourself, I'm bad person, which basically is not what is natural to the human being. Regardless of what we do, we all truly believe inside of ourselves that we are a good people. But where the problem is coming, it's coming in the place where what we believe about ourselves is not matching our behavior. So let's say, I believe I am honest and good person. However, my behavior often say that I am lying to people. So do you see the mismatch? So this is where the crack is happening inside of us. This is where we have so many problems inside of us because our belief about ourselves, the story we say to ourselves about ourselves is not actually matching what we do in our reality. But that, again, doesn't mean that we are bad people. And behavior can be changeable. Every single behavior, whatever habit you have, whatever things you're doing in your life, it is changeable as long as you want to change it and you take the action to change that behavior. So I cannot be lazy person if basically tomorrow I can decide not to be lazy person. So I am only the person who is having lazy behavior, but that behavior can be changed. And this understanding is extremely, extremely powerful. Why? Because when you understand this deeply, you separate your identity from the things you do. You start seeing, okay, I believe about myself something, but I'm not behaving in alignment with that belief. And as long as I'm doing that, I will feel splitted. I will feel like I'm not doing what I believe it's okay for me. To reach to that alignment, you have to start doing what you believe that you're supposed to do. You have to start aligning the story you say to yourself about yourself with your behavior. So if we take it back to our disagreement and our argument with another person, me saying the truth doesn't mean I am disrespecting somebody. You saying the truth doesn't mean you are attacking or harming somebody, and you speaking the truth doesn't mean you are a bad person. When you speak your truth, what actually it means that you are the person who is aligning what you believe about yourself with your behavior. Because if you believe inside of yourself certain things, certain values and belief, and you act in different way than what you believe it's true, you are bottling up. You are keeping yourself quiet to don't make discomfort in other people. But once you start matching your behavior with what you believe inside of yourself is true, you come in the alignment. And that alignment makes people uncomfortable. So they start labeling you like too sensitive, too difficult, too this, too that. Why? They're trying to connect your behavior with your identity, because the moment they touch your identity, you will shrink down. What I mean by shrink down? You say something, you make other people uncomfortable, other person doesn't want to grow, they tell you, you attacking me, you harming me, you disrespecting me, you are too dramatic, too sensitive, too, this, that. They attack your identity, because the moment they attack your identity, you say, I don't want to be that, what they're telling me I am. So let me become what they're expecting me to be, so I don't challenge them anymore, but I shrink myself down to the size that I know that I am not meant to occupy. And the last confusion is basically their discomfort is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is what is inside of you and what is coming outside of your mouth. But what is happening inside of another person is not your responsibility. So what basically belongs to us and what basically belongs to other people? To us belongs our intention, our delivery, how our words are impacting the other person. Because as long as we are managing our intention and delivery, we will be mindful about impact on other people. You are responsible for your integrity. You are responsible to repair if you broke something, if you intentionally or unintentionally harmed other people. And on the end, you are responsible for your own behavior. But what belongs to the other people? Their triggers, their defensiveness, their discomfort, their wounds, their meaning making about the things you are saying. And they are responsible for interpretation of your truth, for interpretation of your words. So now when we understand this, most of the women will say, okay, but what happens when I'm in the situation and the people are saying something to me which is uncomfortable, which is harming me, which is attacking me, which makes me feel disrespected? So you just flip the story. You just flip the map. If they are truly attacking you, if they are truly trying to harm you, then you have to set boundaries, right? You have to protect yourself. But if they are only speaking the truth, which makes you feel uncomfortable, then in that case, this is your place of growth. And often we, like other people, avoid that place of the growth. My podcast is listened by now almost 2 years of existence worldwide. There is almost no corner on this earth where I don't have at least few followers, which means that my podcast slowly became global. As soon as I publish any episode, the downloads are coming immediately. That means that I am saying something which most of the people, most of the women feel deep inside of them. I'm giving truth. I'm giving vocabulary for something that the people feel inside, but they don't have real vocabulary to describe what is happening inside of them. And then on another side, there is a lot of people who basically feel triggered with my words. Why they feel triggered? Did I harm anybody? Did I attack anybody? Did I call the names? No, I am speaking truth, and my truth makes other people uncomfortable. But I know that I am not responsible for that. I am responsible to match my behavior with who I believe I am, with my own identity. And my identity always say, I don't want to harm anybody, but I will not allow anybody to harm me. I am mindful about my intention, my delivery, and how my words are impacting another person, but the effect on another person, effect on somebody who is listening my podcast, it's not my responsibility. If I try to do that, this podcast wouldn't be what it is. It wouldn't start becoming global podcast, global brand. Because if I shrink my truth, you who are listening this and craving for my truth wouldn't get real picture. You would get watered down picture, which is made for the people who cannot tolerate discomfort. So in order for me to speak my truth, I have to have clear understanding on what is my responsibility, what is not my responsibility, how I deliver my truth. And the fact that the people and women all around the world are listening my podcast is telling me that basically I am touching the place where we all feel the same. I am speaking something which is sitting inside of all of us. So if you take this understanding in your life, you will understand why you often maybe have disagreements, arguments with another people, why you have such a hard time setting the boundaries, why you think that protecting yourself is somehow harmful or attack to other people, why speaking your truth people see like a disrespect. I think that today's podcast episode, it's really, really powerful, and it will give you something so strong and so valuable to take in your life and to run with it. Listen it few times if it's necessary. Write down explanation, write down this 7 misunderstanding and confusions and the way you can implement it in your life. Because the moment you understand this, the moment you integrate this, embody it in your life, you get your power back, because then you know, where is my responsibility and where is your responsibility? What is my intention? What is your intention? What is your delivery? What is my delivery? You start separating yourself from other people's emotions and you start focusing on what is in your control. And what is in your control is only what is sitting inside of you. And that's it for this episode. I was walking around my room, I think meters and meters I walked until I was recording this. So yeah, that's all what I wanted to share with you this Sunday. I hope you found something valuable inside of it. If you did, please share it with a woman who could benefit from this podcast episode. And I truly believe it is really, really beneficial for as much as possible many women realize this truth and start getting their power back, stop being responsible for other people's emotions, stop betraying themselves, to don't challenge other people, to don't make them uncomfortable. Once we have clear understanding about what is our responsibility, what is not, we get our power back. And when we get our power back, then we become self-led woman. What does it mean, self-led woman? The woman who leads herself, the woman who knows exactly where she begins, where she ends, and where another person is starting. So that's all for this Sunday. Until the next week, I wish you beautiful, beautiful rest of the day.